Hello everyone. You're about to hear a short synopsis of the film Athena. Enjoy. The younger brother, Abdeli, was severely beaten by 3 police officers and died in the hospital. He asked everyone to remain calm and prevent unrest. However, the middle brother, Girem, showed up at the police station with his gang. He threw a Molotov cocktail at the journalists, after which a crowd of young men in balaclavas began to wreak havoc inside the police station. Girem ordered his men to find weapons. The small group of police officers were pelted with garbage and a couple of bottles of fuel. A safe was soon found. They couldn't open it, so they'd take it with them. Along with all the tactical gear, the safe was dragged to the police van they'd stolen earlier and loaded inside. The raid was a success. Now the crowd can retreat and return to their home district of Athena. The migrant children are rejoicing, believing they've won today. And with the weapons they've acquired, they can continue to resist the authorities. We will win this war. We will give them hell. However, already in Athens, there was a misunderstanding. Bricks and bottles were thrown at Girem's gang. The locals thought the cops had arrived in the area and attacked their car. The rioters got their hands on 30 police uniforms and radios. They will be able to impersonate the cops and kick their asses. Ordinary residents are shocked by what is happening. After all, the young people are planning to barricade themselves in their house. Girem intends to fight the police until they hand over the killers of his younger brother, Athena. Young men in tracksuits are running back and forth, barricading the entrance to their neighborhood. A police squad is being dispatched. Their task is to weaken the barricades so that the police can launch a single, powerful attack in the evening. They also have information that the Syrian terrorist Sebastian is hiding in Athens. Young policeman Girem has a daughter waiting at home. Right now, he's about to head into the thick of it. Rioters are spraying cops with fireworks and Molotov cocktails. The gangster Migrant has his own worries. He needs to smuggle a large shipment of cocaine out of the area. He plans to get through the barrier disguised as an ambulance worker. They're supposedly transporting a patient out of the dangerous area. Migrant will bury the shipment in the woods. Then, when everything calms down, they'll pick it up. However, Girem ordered his guys not to let anyone through. The police arrived. The gangsters were forced to flee and find cover. Migrant threatens the rioters with a pistol to keep them from touching him. However, the boys are curious about what he's carrying in his bag and whose side he's on. Girem offered to hand over all the weapons to the gang and let them go. But instead, the gang hid in a hookah bar. The adults are worried that the young people could destroy their homes. And, worse yet, accidentally kill one of them. They need to evacuate immediately. Some hope that Abdul can resolve the situation by talking to his brother. Others fear the terrorist Sebastian. Abdul rode his scooter to the barricades, but Girem wasn't there. Meanwhile, Sebastian was calmly arranging flowers in a flower bed, as if nothing was happening. Abdul asked him to go to a secluded place. Families are preparing to evacuate the area. Residents have been forced to leave all their belongings. They are leaving their homes with small children in their arms. Sebastian was placed in a chair in the kindergarten, so that no one would see him. Abdul's family is in no hurry to leave Athens because they are saying goodbye to Athena right now. Girem arrived there a minute later. The ceremony was interrupted by a brick that broke a window in the room. Abdul asked his relatives to evacuate. It was too dangerous to stay here. Girem immediately slipped away from his older brother. My sister is also planning to stay and fight. You don't want war? Not now.
The war has already begun. You can't see it. The
fighters in orange uniforms, seeing Abdul, asked him to stay with them and fight. Nearby, a large group of peaceful residents quietly made their way through the police cordon. This doesn't stop the rioters. Fireworks and debris are flying at their relatives and neighbors. Abdul found his mother. The woman asked her eldest son to take care of Girem. At some point, chaos ensued. The police started using batons and pepper spraying the men. Migrants gathered on the roof to dump garbage into refrigerators and other large appliances. I'm with you, you pig-faced bastards. Drink up, bastards. They made holes in someone's apartment on the top floor to make it easier to move around. Girem ordered the men to break into people's homes and take whatever they needed. Meanwhile, journalists received information that Athena might not have been killed by the police, but by far-right nationalists, who were trying to provoke him. Girem was informed that the cops had broken through. The leader called for backup and threw himself at the police shields with his fists. After falling to the ground and taking a jet of water in his face, Girem went on the attack again. The passage was blocked with trash cans, and the cops were forced to retreat. Evening fell, and the original plan failed. Abdul was arrested along with other men who had participated in the brawl. An old comrade freed the soldier but asked him not to go anywhere. Girem refuses to believe the news. It wasn't a provocation. The police simply hate them all. They kill, and we kill. They speak the language of violence. So let's show them violence. Girem plans to take one police officer hostage, saying that then they will finally be heard. That night, the police launched a massive assault on Athens. Dozens of officers formed a line and ran forward. Among them was a young father, Girem. Fireworks lit up the street. The boys dragged the wounded officer into the building. The cops began swinging their batons and hitting everyone in sight, trying to recapture one of their own. They threw flashbang grenades into the building. At one point, all the officers had to take a defensive position to wait out the fireworks barrage. Girem stepped forward and threw a Molotov cocktail at their feet. Some cops burst into flames, others scattered. Girem, gasping for breath, fell to the ground and crawled away with difficulty. Locals raced through the streets, searching for a potential hostage. And then they spotted Girem. The poor guy had found a temporary shelter and hid there. The man took off his uniform and pulled on someone's sweatshirt. He hoped to pass as one of them and leave the neighborhood undetected. Only one wall separated Girem from freedom. But then the rioters spotted him again. A policeman pointed a gun at them, but he was quickly disarmed and brutally kicked. Miktar was also unable to leave the area. His underlings dug up the floor and buried the goods right under the building. The beaten Girem was caught on camera. If the guilty police officers aren't punished, they'll kill the hostage. Abdul plans to return and rescue Girem before the anti-terrorist squad gets to him. He broke through the cordon and returned to his home district. The crowd cheered at the sight of the man. They thought the soldier was now on their side. However, Abdul immediately headed for the place where the hostage was being held. Apparently, his brother has completely lost his mind. He's facing at least 10 years for this. This can't be done. They're waiting for it. You're coming with me, and there's no drama. Idira, they can't bring him back anyway. They need to think about their mother and go home. But Girem called his brother a traitor and spat at him. He would have been better off dead than Idir. Abdul grabbed the hostage and ran with him toward the exit. Girem fired after them. The others also began to shower the fugitives with fireworks. They managed to escape outside and block the door. Unfortunately, they were unable to escape. The police didn't recognize their own and wounded Girem in the leg with a rubber bullet. The fugitives found themselves caught between two fires. They were forced to flee again. The police soldiers found a new hideout in a hookah bar, where the bandits were already hiding. Miktar had previously been Abdul's protector, helping him solve his problems and still calling him his brother. However, the bandit tensed up when he realized his friend had dragged the cop here. He had already seen their faces and weapons. He said, "We'll have to dig deep. I'll finish him off and bury him right there." Quote, Abdul suggested to the bandit that he instead save the cop and become a hero. Miktar agreed, but Roma's corrupt cop friends would take him away. They promised to arrive in 10 minutes. Miktar fed the cop a chocolate bar and gave him some fruit milk. "You're so shy, he's so shy. Don't cry, you bastard. Oh my god." Kareem's mom called and said he'd be back soon. The boy approached the hookah bar and demanded that his brother return the hostage. The cops were supposed to arrive any minute, but the younger brother ruined everything. He lit a Molotov cocktail. His armed buddies smashed through the wall from the other side. Abdul begged his brother to back off. Police officers stood behind him and demanded he put his hands up. Kareem raised his arm to throw the bottle at them, but was shot and burned alive. Abdul put out the flames and knelt before Kareem. He had just lost another brother. Sobbing, the soldier carried Kareem's body into the room and covered it with a sheet. Miktar suggested that Abdul calm down and go with him to the police. However, the man flew into a rage and began hitting the bandit over the head, eventually beating him to death. This happened in front of the boys. Abdul suggested that those who wanted to leave lay down their weapons. Some did so. The rebels had just lost their leader and immediately gained a new one. Abdul ordered the hostage to be taken upstairs. There were still a few questions. What to do with the Syrian terrorists and how to open the safe. Abdul ordered Sebastian to deal with the safe. A police friend called and asked what he was going to do.
I want the heads of the cops who killed Idir. You have an hour or I'll kill him.
The news says that unrest has swept through 30 cities since the teenager's death. The far right is also going crazy. Sebastian did what he does best. This time he blew up the safe. Machine guns and shotguns were lying inside. The Syrian ordered the boys to shoot out the windows and plant bombs. Abdul lost control of the situation. He kicked out the last residents of the building, who refused to leave. Meanwhile, Sebastian ordered the gas pipes to be damaged, gas cylinders to be placed everywhere, and the apartments to be doused with gasoline. A comrade is trying to talk some sense into Abdul. They've already conducted an investigation and are 100% certain that his brother was killed by Nazis disguised as cops. But Abdul has gone crazy and demands that the culprits be brought to him. Sebastian, we've installed the cylinders. Now what? Abdul ordered the camera to be turned on and pointed the gun at Jerome's head. The policeman screamed in fear, but Abdul fired anyway. The bullets flew past Jerome's face. He was stunned. The boys finally realized that the deranged Sebastian was about to blow up the building. They all had to go. But the soldier remained seated, staring at Shram, and didn't move even when the hostage left the room. Shram joined the criminals, who were taking off their clothes. He went outside with everyone else and silently knelt. Finally, all these guys decided to surrender and save their lives. Only Sebastian and Abdul remained in the building. The Syrian surrounded himself with gas cylinders, and the last son lay down in front of the television and cried. Finally, a powerful explosion sounded, destroying the 7th floor of the building. We return to the beginning of the story, when Idir's murder was captured on camera. A group of extreme activists got into the cameraman's car and took off their police uniforms. That night, all the equipment and all the evidence were burned in the forest.